The night was cold in the Forest of Echoes. No birds sang, no leaves moved. Everything was silent. Too silent. An orc scout named Grawl walked slowly between the trees. He was tall, strong, and brave. But tonight, even he was afraid. He looked around and whispered, "Where is everyone?" Grawl had come with 5 other orc scouts. They entered the forest in the morning, but now it was night hand. He was alone. He stopped near a black tree. The bark looked burned. The ground around it was dead. No grass, no bugs, just silence. Suddenly, Grawl heard a soft breath behind him. He turned fast. There! But something was there. He could feel it, watching him. His hand shook as he pulled out his blade. "Who goes there?" he shouted. No answer. Then a voice came, soft and cold. "Go back." Grawl dropped his sword. His eyes went wide. That voice, it was not orc, not elf, not beast. It sounded human, but not normal. It was deep, calm, and dangerous. He turned and ran back at the orc camp. The leader Grosh sat by the fire. His scarred face was quiet. Other orcs whispered around him. 3 scouts missing. No sounds on the wind, maybe the elves. Grosh slammed his fist. The elves do not walk this far north. Something else is here. An old orc stepped forward. His name was Urkon. He was blind in one eye and walked with a limp. Most young orcs laughed at him, but tonight they listened. Urkon's voice was dry. "I have heard this silence. Before, long ago, before the last war. When the humans walked, the orcs looked at each other. Humans, one asked. They all died." Urkon shook his head slowly. "Not all." He pointed toward the dark forest. "There was one they feared. Even the beasts feared him. His name is not spoken. But if he walks again, we must run." But even as he spoke, the fire dimmed, and somewhere far away, something screamed. Not a beast, not a man, but something in pain, something afraid in the elf watchtower across the valley. 2 guards stood looking out over the trees. One of them, Phaler, squinted. "Do you see that?" he asked. The other elf, Lyra, followed his gaze. A figure moved through the trees, not fast, not loud, just walking. It was tall, cloaked, and somehow the light around it seemed to bend. Like the forest was scared to touch him, Phaler whispered. "What is that?" Lyra said nothing. Her eyes were wide. The figure looked up toward them. Though he was far away, they felt his eyes. Phaler stepped back. "We should report this." Lyra nodded now. But deep down, both of them knew something ancient had returned in the mountains beyond the valley. A cave shook. A beast as large as a house opened one red eye. Its horns scraped the stone above. Another beast woke beside it. This one had wings like smoke and claws like steel. "Did you feel that?" it growled. "Yes," the other replied. "A power we buried. A power we feared." They both paused. "Is it him?" The winged beast shivered. "I thought he was gone." "No," the other said. "He was only sleeping." Then it added in a whisper, "He is awake." Back in the forest, Grawl finally reached the edge. His chest hurt. His legs were tired. But he didn't stop. He ran straight into the camp and fell at Grosh's feet. "Gone!" he gasped. "They're all gone." Grosh grabbed him. "Speak clearly." Grawl's eyes were wild. No blood, no bodies, just silence and a voice. Camp went quiet. Grawl looked at Urkon. "You were right. He's back." Urkon closed his eyes. "Then this land will shake again." Grosh clenched his jaw. "We need answers." But Urkon shook his head. "There are no answers. Only whispers in the dark." Far, far away, a man stood alone on a hill. He wore a dark cloak. His hair was silver. His eyes glowed like stars. Behind him, trees withered. Around him, the wind held its breath. He looked up at the night sky. "It's time," he said softly. He turned toward the valley. The beasts would run. The elves would hide. The orcs would scream. But he would walk forward. The morning was bright, but the air felt heavy. In the green lands near the Forest of Echoes, a group of elf soldiers marched silently. Their silver armor shined under the sun, and their bows were ready. But their eyes were filled with worry. Captain Alrin led the patrol. He was brave, wise, and had fought in many wars. But today, Even he looked unsure. A younger elf, Tolan, walked beside him. "Captain," he asked quietly, "why are we here again?" Alrin didn't answer for a moment. Then he said, "Because the Orcs sent a message." The Orcs, Tolan frowned. "Since when do we trust their words?" Alrin looked at the trees ahead. "They said something strange is moving in the forest, something that even they fear." The elves moved deeper into the woods. They walked past burned trees and dead roots. Birds were silent. No animals moved. Tolan touched a tree and pulled his hand back. "Cold," he whispered, "like ice." Suddenly, an elf at the back shouted, "Captain, you must see this." They rushed over. A small clearing stood before them. The grass was black. 5 giant claw marks were cut deep into the earth, like something massive had landed there. Alrin bent down. He touched the claw marks and closed his eyes. "These are not dragon marks," he said. "They're older, stronger." Tolan stepped back. What kind of beast did this? Before anyone could answer, the wind stopped. A strange sound came from the shadows. Not a roar, not a growl. It was breathing, slow, deep, calm. The elves raised their bows, looking everywhere. "Stand ready," Elrin ordered, but they saw nothing. Then the trees ahead began to bend. Not from wind, but from something walking between them. Shape stepped out. It was tall, taller than any elf. A cloak covered its body. But underneath, they saw parts of old armor black and broken. His eyes glowed faintly. No weapon, no sound, just presence. The elves froze. Alrin whispered, "Who are you?" The figure looked at him and spoke with a voice like stone. "I am the last." Without warning, the earth shook. A giant beast, red and wild, crashed from the side. Its teeth were long. Its eyes burned with fire. It leaped toward the cloaked man. The elves stepped back, ready to fight or flee. But the man did not move. He raised one hand. The beast stopped midair. Frozen, its body hovered above the ground. Its roar turned into a cry of fear. Then, in one flash of light, it was gone. No blood, no sound, just ash on the wind. The man lowered his hand. He looked at the elves. "You are not ready." Then he turned and walked into the trees. No one moved. The forest was quiet again. Talon's hand shook. "Captain, what did we just see?" Alrin breathed slowly. "I don't know," he said, "but he is not beast. He is not elf. He is something else." Tolan looked at the burned ground where the beast had died. "Should we go after him?" Elrin shook his head. "No, we are leaving now." That night, the elves returned to their city in the mountains. The council sat in a tall white hall. The elders wore long robes and looked down at Alrin. "You fled from one man?" one elder asked. Alrin stood tall. He was not a man. He was something older than dragons. Another elder leaned forward. Describe him. Alrin closed his eyes. He moved like a ghost, spoke like a king, and destroyed a great beast with one hand. The room went silent. One of the oldest elves, Elira, spoke softly. There was a story, a myth. Long ago, before the Age of Flame, a being walked this world. Not god, not monster, but human. A weapon made by humans, built for war. The other elders looked nervous. "I thought humans died," one said. Elira nodded. They did. But some say one was left behind. That night, Elrin sat alone near his window. He looked out at the dark forest. He remembered the man's words. "You are not ready." Alrin whispered to himself. Then who is? Far away, the man in the cloak walked through an old stone gate. His steps echoed like thunder. He entered a forgotten city. Broken towers, fallen walls, signs of old battles. He stopped near a old symbol of earth. He looked at it for a long time. Then he said one word. Soon, deep under the mountains, where light never touched, something began to stir. The walls of the ancient cave were covered in old marked symbols from a time before elves, before orcs, before even the first dragons. The air was thick, heavy, like it was waiting for something then. The ground shook. A rumble rolled through the stone. One giant yellow eye opened. The beast's skin was black like stone, but its blood ran like fire. Its name was Cruiser, and it had slept for over 1,000 years. Now he was awake, far above on the rocky peaks. Other beasts stirred. They were huge, some with wings, some with claws, some with both. These were not simple monsters. They were the old beasts, creatures of war. Born during the First Age, others he walks again. A reply came instantly from across the mountains. The human, no Velrath, growled. Gay air grew colder as more minds joined the connection. How is this possible? We buried his kind, burned their cities, broke their worlds. In a cave full of fire, a giant beast with silver scales slammed his fist into the ground. Then we must destroy him now, it roared. Velroth shook his head. We tried before. We failed. You remember what he did. The silver-scaled beast lowered his eyes. Yes, he remembered. Long ago, during the Great Burning, the beasts ruled everything. Orcs served them. Elves ran from them. The skies belonged to dragons, and the land to giants. Then, the humans arrived at first. They were weak, but a human made for one purpose. Only to survive. That man fought alone, destroyed armies, walked through fire. Even the strongest beast fled from him. Then one day he vanished. The beasts thought he had died, but now they knew the truth. He had only slept. Velrath flew to the edge of the mountains. He looked down at the valley there, moving slowly through the trees. Was the cloaked figure, even from far away. The beast could feel his presence. Strong, calm, silent, and very, very dangerous. Velroth growled. He remembers us. The figure stopped and looked up. Though miles away, their eyes met. Velrath flinched. He saw me. He turned and flew back fast. In the black hollow where the oldest beasts gathered, a great meeting began. Cruiser, the stone-skinned leader, stood. Tall Dot, his voice echoed through the chamber. He has returned. One of the lesser beasts, smaller but fast, hissed. Why fear one human? Nodded slowly. Maybe, but not alone. Then what do we do? What is that? Cruiser growled. We run. Far across the stars, on a cold, silent moon, an old machine blinked. Dust blew off its panels. It had not moved in centuries then. It received a signal. DNA match. Confirmed. Subject. RALEN09. Status. Active. Location. Outer. Sector. A green light blinked 3 times. Earth had seen the signal. Earth knew he was awake, in the forest. Roland, the cloaked man, walked through the old ruins. He passed broken towers, smashed gates, shattered armor. He had fought here once. His memories were slow to return, but they came. Voices, screams, fire. He touched a wall where the names of old humans were carved. Friends, brothers, lost he. Whispered, you left me here, but I survived. Behind him, 3 beasts crept silently through the forest, fast, smart, deadly. They had been sent to kill him. They moved in the shadows. Didn't turn. He raised one hand. 3 flashes of light. The beasts were gone. Not dead, not hurt, just erased, like they were never there. In the black hollow, Cruiser roared in pain. The minds of the 3 hunters had vanished. Do we do now? Cruiser said. Only one word, hide. No beast followed. No bird sang. Dot. Everything was watching. Everything was afraid. His name was... His hands were shaking. He's still walking, he said quietly. Same path, same pace. Nothing stops him. Lyra, his friend, frowned. Where is he going? No one knew. They only knew one thing. He wasn't lost. He was following something. Back in the mountains, the Orcs watched from afar. Grawl, the scout, who escaped from the forest, stood next to Grosh, the war chief. That's him. I saw him that night, Grosh grunted. He walks like a ghost. Grosh crossed his arms. What does he want? Urkon replied, he wants answers and revenge. Rallen moved toward a great Walwans, a human outpost, long abandoned. He stepped through the broken gate. It had once been a place of science and power. Now it was dust and stone. He found an old terminal buried under vines. He brushed it clean. It blinked once. Power, 7% remaining. A voice crackled out. RALN-09. ... Recognized. Welcome back. His eyes didn't change. He plugged a cable into the machine from a device on his wrist. Old data loaded, old memories returned. Project Lastborn status, terminated remaining units. 0 survivor, 1 Earth status, not responding. He stared at the screen, then he spoke. Earth left me, but Earth will answer. In orbit, far above the sky, something moved. Hidden deep in space was an old satellite called Watcher-13. It had slept for 200 years. Now, it blinked. A signal had been sent. From the ground, from him it read only 4 words. I am still here. Back in the Elven capital, the High Council met again. Alrin stood in front of them. He placed an ancient stone on the table. This was found near the ruins, he said. It's human technology. One elder leaned forward. So he's trying to speak with Earth. Alrin nodded. He remembers. Illyra, the oldest, closed her eyes. If Earth hears him, they might come back. The room fell silent. They were monsters, said one elf. No, Illyra whispered. They were worse. They were human. In the Black Hollow, Cruiser felt something in the air. Power. Old power. Old power. A voice echoed in his mind. You think hiding? We'll save you, Cruiser roared. The mountain cracked. The other beasts looked up. He spoke to me, Cruiser growled. With his mind like a god, Velrath asked, what did he say? Cruiser replied, he said he remembers every war, every betrayal, every death. Another beast asked, what does he want now? Cruiser-S's voice was deep and grim. He wants to finish what he started. Rallen stood at the top of a cliff. He looked out across the valley, his face calm, his eyes sharp. He remembered this place here. Long ago, a final battle was fought. His people lost, his brothers died. He survived, and now he had returned. He knelt and touched the earth. Whispers filled the air. The ground glowed faintly under his hand, not magic, not science, something between. He said only one word, awaken. Deep in space, Earth finally responded. A ship moved, a silent black craft that hadn't flown in 150 years. Inside, machines came to life. A female voice spoke from the ship's AI target confirmed. RALEN09. Level, extreme threat status. Alive, new objective. Observation, do not engage. The ship turned toward, the planet Earth was watching, and it was afraid. Before the forests died, before the beasts ruled, before the elves built their cities in the mountains, there was Earth, there were humans, and there was war. In the last age of human power, the world was broken. Machines turned against cities. Weapons filled the sky. Enemies came from the stars. Humanity stood on the edge of death. They had one choice left, to create something impossible. The project was called Lastborn, a secret lab buried under the ice, worked day and night, not to build bombs, not to make soldiers, but to make a human like no other, a being that would not age, would not fear, would not stop, a human who could walk through fire, think faster than computers, heal from any wound, not a machine, not a monster, just a man, but the final man. His name was RALEN09. He was the 9th attempt. The first 8 failed. Too weak, too slow, too unstable. But Rallen was perfect. He was born in silence, grew without a family, trained without rest. He never knew peace, only orders. Protect the planet, defeat all threats. Never forget who you are. He didn't forget, but the world forgot him. When the alien beasts arrived from deep space, Earth sent armies. The beasts burned cities, crushed machines, shattered walls. Then Raylan was sent. He fought alone. He didn't need guns. He was a weapon. He tore through beasts the size of ships. He broke dragons with his bare hands. Even the skies changed when he rose. And for a time, Earth survived, but victory came with a cost. The other nations, Elves, Orcs, beasts, they feared humans, even when humans helped them. Too strong, they whispered. Too dangerous, they said. They will turn on us next. They feared so. They betrayed Earth together. The other races attacked. They used poison, magic, dark tech, one by one. The human cities fell. Earth died, screaming. But Rallen did not. He fought until the final battle, until even the stars went dark. And then he vanished. No one knew where he went. Some thought he was dead. Others thought he fled into the sky. But the truth was worse. He had been left behind. Rallen stood now in the ruins of that final battlefield. His boots crushed the ashes of his past. He walked through a field where metal bones still lay. Old weapons, burned tanks, faded flags. He looked down at a broken helmet. The symbol on it was Earth's last mark. He held it in his hand for a long time. Then he whispered, "You erased us, but I'm still here." In the sky, the Earth ship floated closer to the planet. Inside, the AI continued recording Raylan's movements. "He has returned to Site 0, the system noted. Emotional signs detected: anger, grief, purpose. Recommendation: do not engage." But a voice came through the signal, a human voice, cold, military. "Ignore that. Begin weapons check. If he remembers, he may turn on us." The AI paused, acknowledged. "But be warned, he is stronger than before." The ship armed itself back on the ground in the dark valley. Rollin touched the dirt where the last human commander had fallen. He knelt down and carved something into the stone with his finger. 4 letters, EARTH. He stood up, and now he remembered. Everything. In the Elven city, the council felt it. A wave of energy rolled through the mountains. Magic twisted. Birds flew into the sky. Water froze for a second. Illyra gasped. He unlocked something. "What?" another elder asked. She looked at them, voice shaking, his full power. In the beast realm, Cruiser trembled in his sleep. Flames danced around his cave. Velrith woke him. "What's wrong?" he asked. Cruiser stared at the wall. His voice was hollow. "He's not angry." "Then what?" Cruiser looked at him. "He's awake, and he's focused." Far away, in a secret base under the sea, old computers turned on. A single screen flashed red. "Last born, Rolano 9 status, active world response, delayed threat level, red warning." He remembers a countdown began, and Rolani he walked into the rising sun, his eyes glowing softly. Each step shook the ground. Each breath carried the weight of forgotten war. And in his heart, one fire burned brighter than ever. "You feared humans. Now you'll remember why." Rallan stood in front of a broken monument. The sky above him was gray. Wind blew softly through the cracked stones. This place was once a human city. Now it was just dust and ruins. But to Rallan, it was something more. It was something more. It was home. He walked slowly through the remains of a building. The walls were black from fire. The roof was gone. But he remembered this place. His hands touched the stone. Like greeting an old friend, there, carved into the wall, were names. Faded, scratched. He wiped the dust away. Project Lastborn, Units 0109. Only one name was clear. RALN. His name. His real name. His lost name. He spoke it aloud, Rallan, and the air changed. Far above, the Earth ship floating in orbit heard the word. Its AI blinked. Audio match confirmed. Subject Rolano 9 has spoken identity. Emotional signal, stable. Danger level, rising. A new voice came from Earth. This one was old, human, but afraid, he remembers. "What do we do?" the AI answered coldly. "Now we wait." In the Elven mountains, lightning flashed. Alrin stood on the balcony of the tower, watching the sky. He felt the pulse of power flow across the land. He turned to Lyra. "It's him again." Lyra nodded. "Every time he speaks, the wind changes. Even the stars shift." "What name did he say?" she asked. Alrin whispered Rallan. The trees outside bent in the wind. Lyra, the ancient elf elder, joined them. Her face was pale. "I knew that name once," she said. "When I was a child, it was spoken in Firthen, in silence." "Who is he?" Lyra asked. Lyra stared into the clouds. "He is the last of Earth's warriors, the one even dragons feared." In the beast caves, Cruiser roared in his sleep. He saw Rallan's face in a vision-com glowing and full of pain. Velrath woke him. "What did you see?" Cruiser breathed heavily. "His name, it brings back everything. Every war, every defeat, every time we ran." Velrath said nothing. Cruiser stood slowly. "It's not just his power, it's his memory. He remembers everything we did to him." Rallan now stood on top of a ridge. Below him was a broken battlefield. Old human ships, dead beasts, and burned flags. He opened a panel on his wrist. A map blinked on screen. He pressed one location. Signal, locked Earth Command Core, buried transmission sending. He spoke into the wind. I am Raylan, 9th of the lastborn. You left me, you buried my brothers. You ran when I stood alone. I was made to protect Earth, and I did. You said I was a weapon. I say, I am human. The Earth ship paused in space. The AI repeated the message. The human voices on Earth panicked. He's not confused. He's fully aware. He remembers his mission. What if he comes? Back, another voice replied. He won't come back. He'll bring Earth to him. Inside the Earth ship, a strange command was typed. Activate containment plan Z19. The AI paused. Plan Z19 requires full override. The human voice answered, because he is not angry, he is speaking, and that's worse. In the valley, 3 elven scouts watched Rollin from a high cliff. They reported back in whispers, he's not attacking, he's just walking, he's calling to the stars. Then Raylan looked up. His voice echoed through the sky, loud but strong. Come. The orcs felt it too. Grawl dropped his spear. Grosh looked up from his tent. What is that sound? Urkon, the old orc, smiled sadly. That is the sound of a name the stars remember, far beyond, in deep space. Other human ships began to wake silent machines, forgotten drones, lost satellites. They all blinked at once. Name match. Rallin 09. Status. Directive inbound. Stand by for orders. The war they tried to forget. The man they tried to erase had returned. Rallin stood alone under the fading sun. He raised his hand, and the sky itself seemed to answer. Stars glowed brighter. Air turned still, and across the world. One thing became clear. His name was not just remembered, it was feared. The fire planet was called Vorak. It was home to the strongest beasts in the galaxy. Mountains of lava, skies full of smoke, rivers of fire. No elf or orc had ever stepped there. No one survived it. Only beasts ruled Vorak, until now, deep inside a fortress of black stone. The beast lords held a secret meeting. Cruiser stood tall at the center. His eyes were burning. He said his name. Cruiser growled. He sent the signal. You all felt it. Velrath spread his wings. He wants Earth to return, and they will. If we wait, we lose everything. One beast slammed its fist on the table. Then we strike now. Cruiser-ass voice rumbled. Yes, we hit him first, before Earth answers. Before he grows stronger, the room agreed. 10 of the deadliest beasts were chosen. 10 that had survived wars, burned planets, crushed cities. They were sent to destroy one man on the edge of Vorak. Fire exploded from the ground. The 10 beasts arrived. They moved in silence, spreading out. Each one had a different weapon. Claws, venom, fire breath, bone armor, plasma skin. They circled a single figure standing near the lava cliffs. Rallin, he didn't move. He stood with his arms behind his back, watching the sky. The lead beast roared, "This is your end, human." Raylan turned, his eyes glowed gold. He said nothing. The ground shook. One beast leaped forward, faster than lightning, but it never landed. Raylan blinked and the beast vanished in a cloud of ash dot. No sound, no scream, just gone. The others hesitated. Then they attacked together. Fire rained from above, claws slashed the air, rocks shattered, but nothing touched him. Rallin moved like wind, soft, smooth, perfect. One beast tried to bite its mouth, froze midair. Another tried to stab, its bones turned to dust dot in less than 12 seconds. 9 beasts were gone. Only one remained. It shook with fear. Rallin walked toward it. "I didn't come here to kill," he said calmly. The beast fell to its knees. "Then why are you here?" it asked. Rallin looked around at the place. "Where your kind feels strongest." He pointed to the lava. "To show you, it means nothing." Then he turned his back and walked away. The last beast did not chase him. It crawled back into the fire. Broken news spread fast. Across the stars, word echoed. 10 beasts attacked the last-born and failed. He walked on Vorak, and the fire did not burn him. He did not fight. He punished the Elven Tower. Alrin listened as scouts brought the report. They attacked him first. One scout said, "They failed," Lyra gasped, "even on their own planet." Yes, he burned them without fire. Elira spoke slowly, her voice full of fear. Now the beasts will run, but there's nowhere left to hide. In the orc camp, Grosh stared at the flames. Grawl asked, "What now?" Urkon replied, "Now?" They all remember why they feared humans. Grosh grunted. "I never feared them before." Urkon looked into the fire. "You will now high above the planet, the Earth." Ship watched in silence. The AI sent the report back home. Rolano 9 has demonstrated extreme control. Offensive actions limited but absolute. 10 high-class targets neutralized in under 15 seconds. Planet Vorak. Critical fear status confirmed. The human voice responded. "He didn't just win. He warned us." The AI replied. "He is still following protocol." "What protocol?" He gave them a chance. Rallen stood at the top of the burning cliff. He looked into the sky. He wasn't smiling. He wasn't angry. He was waiting. He touched his wrist. Device. A small light blinked. Coordinates appeared. Earth Command. Listening. He spoke clearly. "I am done being forgotten now. You listen." The ancient Hall of Tharnkal had not been opened for 1,000 years. But now, all the doors were open. The Great Council had called an emergency meeting for the first time in history. Elves, orcs, and beasts sat under the same roof, not as enemies, but as terrified survivors. High Lord Alrin of the Elves stood silent. Chieftain Grosh of the Orcs clenched his fists. Valrath, the last surviving beast from Vorak, shivered under his thick armor. They waited. A deep voice spoke from the shadows. "We are not here to fight each other," said Alrin. "We are here because he has returned," Grosh spat. "You mean the human?" "No," Velroth said, his voice shaking. "Not a human. The human." Alrin nodded. "Rallen, the last born," Grosh growled. "I don't care what name he uses. He walked into fire and came out clean. That is not natural." Velrath's claws twitched. "He burned Vorak without touching it. 10 of our strongest were turned to dust. And he didn't even look tired." Silence filled the hall. Elira, Alrin's daughter, finally asked, "What does he want?" Grosh answered. "He sent a message to Earth." The whole room tensed. Velrath leaned forward. "Then they will come." "They won't come to help us," Alrin said softly. "They'll come for him, but maybe ... not to stop him." The three leaders stared at each other. Old enemies. Centuries of war. Blood spilled between them now. All that seemed small. "We once feared each other," Alrin said, "but even dragons feared him." Grosh looked around the hall. "Then maybe it is time we stop pretending. We cannot stop him alone, maybe not even together." Velrith's voice was low. "Then what do we do?" They argued for hours. Some wanted to run. Some wanted to beg for peace. Others whispered the unthinkable, "We strike first." All of us now. But no plan sounded safe. No one wanted to be the one to face him. Far away, on a cold mountain, Rallen watched the stars. He knew the council had. Gathered he let them. He could hear their voices if he focused. He didn't need to spy. He only needed to wait. They would break before they dared to fight him. Inside the hall, the voices grew louder. Then a scout burst through the doors. His face was pale, his body shaking. "He's coming," the scout cried. "He's walking toward the Hall of Tharnkal." Grosh stood. "How far?" "Less than 5 miles." Alrin's eyes narrowed. "He wants to be seen. He's not hiding." Velroth's wings folded tight. "Then we face him." They stepped out of the hall. The sky was dark, the wind was cold, and in the distance, a single figure walked calmly toward them. No army, no weapons, just Rallen. The elves raised their bows, the orcs raised their axes, the beasts formed a shield wall, but no one moved forward. No one fired. Rallen stopped 50 feet from them. He looked at all of them, one by one. Then he spoke. "You fear me." The ground under his feet cracked slightly. "But you should fear what's coming after me." Grosh stepped forward. "You burned Vorak. You killed 10 beasts. You want us to bow?" Rallen shook his head. "I don't want you to bow," he said. "I want you to remember," Alrin asked. "Remember what?" Rallen's voice turned cold. "Who we were. Before you banished us, before you locked the gates, you left Earth alone. You thought we died, but we lived. We changed. We became something more. Velroth asked, "Why return now?" Rallen looked to the sky. "Because Earth is watching." Behind him, in the clouds, a flash of silver, a ship, sleek, silent, from Earth. Everyone saw it, everyone understood. This was not just one man. This was a warning. Rallen pointed to the hull. "This is your chance. Fix what you broke, or Earth will fix it for you." Then he turned around and walked away. No one followed, no one spoke, because in that moment they all knew they were no longer in control. High above the planet, in silent orbit, the Earthship Sentinel-9 watched everything. Its black body was hidden from sensors. Its weapons were ready. Inside, the crew of Earth's most secret mission stood in silence. A message had come from the surface. A signal, sent by one of their own, by someone who should have been dead, RALN, Commander. Vera Locke stood at the center of the ship's control room. She stared at the screen. Rallen's face was on it. Still, young, still powerful, and still dangerous. "He survived," she whispered. Beside her, Captain Rice said, "More than that, he evolved." They watched the recordings, the burning of Vorak, the beasts fleeing, the Elves, armies shaking, the Orc war drums falling silent, all because of one man, a man Earth had left behind 100 years ago. "Should we contact him?" Rice asked. Vera shook her head. "No, not yet." "Why not?" "Because I don't know what he wants." Deep in the ship, a vault opened. Inside were files marked Project Titan, Rallen. Old videos showed a young Rallen in training, lifting tanks, running faster than sound, smiling, but then other videos followed. His eyes turned dark. He stopped smiling. He walked into enemy lines alone and never came back. Back then, Earth thought he died in space, but now they knew the truth. He didn't die. He just kept going, and he didn't forget. Vera called a private meeting. Only 6 officers were allowed. She spoke clearly. "He is stronger than before. He walked through dragons and didn't stop. He sent us a signal." Captain Rice asked again, "Is it a call for help or a threat?" No one answered, because deep down, they all knew Raylan was both. Hours later, a message appeared on the main screen. From Raylan, 4 words. "Earth, why so quiet?" The room went silent. Everyone stared at those words. Simple, challenging, daring. "Earth to speak," Vera sighed. "We can't stay hidden anymore." She stepped forward. "Send this reply." She spoke slowly. "We see you. Do not take another step." Back on the planet, Rallen stood on a high cliff. He read the message. He smiled. "They're watching." Behind him, the ground shook slightly. He turned around. The air shimmered. Someone had come. It was another human, wearing silver, armor, eyes glowing, faint blue. He looked younger than Rallen, faster, sharper. "Name?" Rallen asked. The man answered, "Nova, Project Titan, Unit 3. They sent you to stop me." "No," Nova said. "They sent me to understand you." Rallen stared at him. "Then understand this. They abandoned us." Nova looked down. "Maybe, but Earth is not the same now. We don't leave our own behind." Rallen's voice turned. Sharp, too late. The sky roared. 3 more Earth ships broke orbit. Big, silent, deadly. They hovered above the land, like gods of war. The beasts screamed in the distance. The Elves disappeared into shadows. The Orcs fell to their knees. Nova looked up. "They fear us now," Rallen whispered. "They should." Back aboard Sentinel-9, Vera gave her final order. "If he stands down, we welcome him back. If he attacks, the crew waited. We erase the surface." But Rallen wasn't afraid. He looked at the sky and said, "Tell Earth this. I am not the weapon you lost. I am the consequence you created." Then he turned to Nova. "Are you with me?" Nova didn't answer, but he didn't raise his weapon either. The wind howled, the stars burned, and Earth still watched. The skies were quiet now, but the whole galaxy held its breath. From the frozen peaks of the Orc worlds, to the silver towers of the Elves, to the deep, burning caves where the beasts still hid, everyone asked the same question. What will Earth do? And what would Rallen become? In a quiet valley below the Hall of Tharnkol, Rallen stood alone. The grass was untouched, the birds didn't sing, the wind moved around him as if even nature feared to brush his skin. Across from him stood Nova, the Earth soldier in silver armor. Behind them, Earth's warships still hung above the world, ready to strike. Nova spoke first. You could destroy them, all of them. Rallen didn't answer. He stared at the mountains. He had once bled for this land. He had fought wars for it. It had betrayed him. Nova stepped forward. You still haven't told me what you want. Rallen turned his head slowly. I want truth. He pointed at the sky. Earth made us weapons, then locked us away when we became more than they could control. Called us dangerous. They left us behind. Nova said nothing, because deep down, he knew it was true. He had read the files, he had seen the sealed reports. Project Titan was never about peace, it was about power. Raylan's voice dropped low. I waited for 100 years, alone, no help, no rescue, not even a message. Became what they feared, because it was the only way to survive. From above, Commander Vera's voice spoke through Nova's come. Tell him Earth is sorry. Rallen heard it too. He laughed, but there was no joy. Sorry, Earth is afraid, not sorry. Then Rallen raised his hand. Energy shimmered in the air. The clouds shook for a moment. Everyone thought he would attack. Even Nova tensed. Even the mighty ships above charged their weapons. But Rallen didn't strike. He didn't burn the world. He only whispered, I was the one left behind, but I came back not to destroy. I came back so none of us are ever forgotten again. Nova lowered his guard. You want peace? I want truth, Rallen said. I want them to admit what they did, and I want the races of this galaxy to stop treating Earth like dirt. A light blinked on Nova's chest piece. It was a signal from Earth Green. It meant, permission granted. Nova smiled. Then come with me to Earth. Yes, they're ready to face you. Rallen stared at him for a long time. Then, slowly, he nodded. Above them, Earth's ships powered down their weapons. The sky cleared. The beasts came out of their caves. The elves stepped from the shadows. The orcs raised their heads again. They all saw the same thing. The most feared being in the galaxy had chosen peace, but not out of weakness, out of strength. Weeks later, in a great hall on Earth, all the galactic races gathered. It was the first time they had all stood on human soil. Rallen stood at the center. No longer a weapon, no longer a ghost, now a voice, a witness, a warning. He told his story. He showed the scars. He didn't ask for pity, he asked for change. And this time, the galaxy listened. Because when the beasts feared one, and that one still chose mercy, they knew humanity was no longer weak. It was watching. It was waiting, and it would never be left behind again.